17 we think on the line, 16 teams to battle it out, and we are starting straight into the pistol with the Aussies as full mid control is taken. Inns is stuck in towards Donut, Alistair with him, and he's nailed Hazard to the back wall, but immediately APOC is there for the trade, and it's absolute chaos in these opening moments as the CT side have committed a near full rotation over towards A.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they have one back towards the sniper's nest, but even then he could rotate back quickly if needed. He will now make his way back around towards B, which is probably for the best considering the bomb's creeping its way through the cave. APOC still lurking mid. Actually good for one kill. Also, I believe, spotting Inns in the meantime. But that does seem to have given them the idea that it likely is the full B commitment. The problem is they're not really getting a chance to deny that bomb plant itself. Although Savage, I don't think he can do much now. Indeed, plants the bomb. APOC still back towards middle. Can't really make it in time, I don't think, to stop them since Liaz has this kit. So indeed, the defuse comes in. No extra kills even to be taken on top of it as he just goes straight down. And it is Order who managed to pick up that pistol round. As you said, looked quite scary though. They had two fully committed to A. They had one back in the spawn, I believe, as well as the player in the sniper nest. So B was completely open. Unfortunately, Encore took their time moving forward, not exactly knowing that.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to do a little too much there, honestly, with Encore. They had the initial play. They got an opening 1-for-1. They had donut control, and they were trying to be sneaky with it, trying to lurk that bomb back towards the B site, and just left themselves high and dry, to be honest with you. So an early lead taken by Order, an opportunity for that CT side to stretch their legs, and well, that's exactly what they're doing. A heavy mid lean to open things up. 3 players there for the CT side. Just having a little poke with Sicko and Inns on the M4A1s as Hats makes them aware that he is in towards Dig. Smoke to give himself a little bit of breathing room, but it's going to be the quick pop in towards this B site, and the smoke's down mean Lee has no vision at all. He loses his teammate in towards Dig, and that should be a free plant now for the T side as the numbers are punched in by Sterling. 5v4, they'll escape the site itself. Sicko only able to get himself a 1-for-1 as well, and this starts to look a little awkward for Order.
Yeah, more than a little awkward. If they don't get a kill relatively soon, a save might even be considered. Since they do have some smokes though, it looks like they're going to pop them down, see if they can move in and hopefully isolate 1 or 2 of these kills here before the time really begins to run away from them. And well, that's getting pretty close. The flash over. It's a Mach 10 as well for Licky up close, just peeking, and well, he comes away with that kill, keeps on, at this point, pretty much just acting as a distraction. Even with a couple of kills coming back, there wouldn't have been any hope, and they don't even get that far. It's going to be just cleaned up. Liaz goes down. They keep 4 standing in that force buy, and managed to come away with multiple M4s as well. That is pretty much a flawless second round coming through from Encore. It's left Order, obviously, only getting 1,400 loss bonus, so their force buy won't even be on par with what Encore had in that previous round, and it gives them a fantastic opportunity right now to just snatch up this round cleanly and really start running away with an early lead.
That's a really rough way for it to go down for Order. Caught off the back of that mid aggression, relatively lacking in towards Dig, in towards that B site on the firepower. Straight charge up, and it's such a hellscape to get back into if the smokes are available, if you can buy those extra seconds without vision. Becomes all but impossible to retake as Licky just starting to work his way through in towards the caves. Liaz spamming off a few shots on the Deagle, but not finding the connection. Again, a very hefty B lean here from the T side. This time you can't really blame them. They've got the utility. They know they've got the firepower advantage. Should be a relatively clean execute as that. APOC still holding on to the mid control through Scaffold. A man lurking in towards Dig as we start to line up this exec with a minute left on the clock.
Yeah, there's a few players here, but sadly going to be held behind these smokes. So in terms of actually doing anything other than spamming in and hoping for some damage, there's not going to be a ton to do. Indeed, the bomb goes down with Kevlar and pistols. If they can maybe get a couple exits, that would be worthwhile. But other than that, I don't think it's worthwhile heavily committing in towards this retake. Do some damage, try and maybe even keep a couple of the pistols standing and hope to replicate then the same experience in the next round. Okay, not bad. Inns manages to catch Hazard on the bomb site. Spam, of course, given his position away. They've pretty much got them trapped in now as well with Alistair on the flank. So while I don't really see them winning this, it actually is going to be a very expensive round at the very least. And Sterling looks to be the savior there with a nice triple spray down, and well, that should confirm the round win again. Coming down to only a single player surviving, although Order can't manage to successfully win out their own force buy in return, they do at least make it a competitive one. They don't let Encore just start running away with it and start really feeling the confidence. A lot of reinvestment now is going to have to come back in. Sadly, I don't think Order will be able to do much more damage on top of what they've done in that previous round, but at least the not modest for Encore.
Unfortunate for Alistair as well, not quite able to get away with the AK-47. Tried to leg it, didn't have enough health to survive, so it will be just the default USPs into the next round for Order. Like you said, gonna struggle to really get any damage off the back of it. Ins with one pot flash. That's gonna try and maybe catch a timing in towards mid. Problem being, the only player here right now is Apoc on that Mac 10. Pot flash comes over, dodges it well, and now he knows there's bodies chasing him down. He's gonna try and get out of dodge here. There's some good farming opportunities as well with that Mac 10, but Alistair on the drive-by will find him. It's a free open B site in the meanwhile, and you can see Encore have managed to work that out. But I mean, it's default USPs. Even getting the one kill isn't a bad look at all. And at this point, it'll just be Order seeing what little else they can salvage from this round. They've got a Mac 10 in the hands of Alistair. If he can catch a couple of exits in towards the cave, that would be absolutely fantastic for the CT side.
Yeah, especially as Honeganomy to try and to help pull out the op. It'll already be available either way, but extra money wouldn't hurt, of course. Unfortunately, it's not going to be happening. Gets taken down as he tries to creep in. The rest of the pistols may as well stick around looking for the exit since there's nothing really to lose, but I'm not really loving their chances considering their current positions. Not in great spots to actually combine the firepower of the USPs. Maybe here, though, there is Sicko coming in through spawn as well, but no, not quite to finish. If they had have even got that second kill, Inns gave it a go with the Mac 10 as well. Charging down the ramp, and they get close on a couple of them, but sadly that's not going to be enough. So Encore do manage to come out with 4 standing. Makes up for that previous round, obviously, where they lost pretty much everyone bar 1. But now we get into the real action. We finally get a full gun round.
This is where things will really start to show themselves. We'll have to see Order biting back early here. We talk about this current iteration of Ancient of being very CT-sided, control heavy, that mid control easy to establish if you've got the utility available, and that's what they're going to look for here. Double mollies go in. Smokes to follow up. Sicko will take full control, but it's going to be a charge instead. Straight out A long. Alistair is here into the temple. Gets the first for free. Manages to reposition, but he knows he's isolated. Big box a potential option as well, but Savage shows his shoulder, and Alistair takes it with open arms. Licky will finally have the flank, and that will be at least 1 kill to the good, but already into the 2-on-4. Make it 1-on-4 as Liaz isn't expected, and it's a demolition job. That's much more like it from Order. The rifles come out, and they deny it at the first point of contact.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried for Alistair, I won't lie, once Licky had crept up close, but as soon as he comes away with that second kill, and I think in sync with Sicko getting a kill elsewhere, it was just their round pretty much, unless some massive mistakes were going to be made. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty much as ideal as they could have asked for that first gun round to go. The economy's still sufficient for 1 buy at least for Encore, so they get their up, they get all their rifles, and they'll have a chance to try and knock Order down a notch again before they really start building up any sort of control. And that's what they kind of need to do, as we said, considering they are the underdogs in this series. Problem being already, the initial frag comes in favor of Order. They trade nades for some damage, and well, it works out much, much better for Order. Apoc lives on 10 health, Licky down to 50 as well. It's 4 players standing for Encore, and 2 of them are barely upright.
Much more dig-heavy setup here from the CT side, and it's paying dividends. Early pick onto Sterling, despite him being in a solid enough position, and Hats through the gaps. Manages to double it. Licky down, with Apoc still on just 10 points of health as well. This starts to get very ugly. Savage forced to go wide of the mollies. Missed shot from Alistair will leave him vulnerable, but the connection not quite able to be found. So at the very least for Encore, they've managed to establish this mid-control. Push the AWPer back deep in towards red, and there is some timings potentially available as Savage will take the red room. Problem is, what do you do with it? 45 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is still deep outside of B. Only 1 smoke available, and that's going into this B take now with Liaz smoked off towards long. Molotov to try and clear the cubby. But they've got to deal with Alistair, and it's going to be Savage's job to find that connection. AWPer will ready and waiting, finds it cleanly. And with 25 seconds left on the clock, and to be honest, yeah, it's going to have to be the save for Encore.
Yeah, I mean, that was well read. I like the attempt, put the smokes down on B, hope to start prompting the rotation so Savage has the chance to actually catch someone crossing in through the spawn, but as you can see, Alistair just wasn't falling for that. They have the numbers, they have the 5, they didn't really need to prompt to rotate before a confirmation came in of numbers on a push. We do have a few moments of silence while they get the weapons saved. No hunt coming in from Order. Not too surprising. I mean, their money's not amazing. They had a relatively clean round in the one before, but if you can take all 5 standing, you're going to be more than happy to do so, especially here on the CT side. Stabilize the economy to a point where you have enough for that buy in the reserve at all points, and just ensure that you can have that opportunity to lock down the CT side, as we know can happen here on Ancient. I am looking forward to seeing how the new changes play out. As we said, though, of course, it would have been a bit crazy to throw it at the players with so little warning.
Would have been fun.
Oh, yeah. But I
Bit
don't
of a
think the
giggle.
players necessarily want fun. They want competition.
Just completely, brick up one side of Temple and say, yeah, have fun, play with that. But not to be, as Encore do use their first tactical, understanding the severity of the situation they find themselves in with this buy. They have emptied the bank accounts. There is not a penny left saved. Deagle in the hand of APOC. P250 for Licky to be able to get a little bit of more utility out on the IGL. Sterling, of course, on that AWP, and 2 AKs to try and back him up. And these are the kind of rounds now when you need that little bit of magic. You need somebody to stand up and be counted up against the full buy of order. As you said, 5 saves previous. Puts them in a very strong position economically, and it's going to be this pressure again towards Dig. 3 players ready and waiting. They chew on the early HE, but the control at the very least is established. That's something they really struggled to do last round, and they managed to work it relatively cleanly early on here.
I think this is the first round where we haven't seen a kill within the first few seconds. It is, as we've seen, a bit more passive this time around the cave from Order, not pushed up in towards the actual lamp area itself. Instead, holding it off just with a smoke, look to waste some time, and for now Encore look like they just want to split that mid control. Does make sense. Unfortunately, they run into Alistair, who seems more than ready. We'll have a tiny gap there. I'm pretty sure he did spot that the cross had come in just before the smoke bloomed, and either way, he's already called it to Inns, who is going to be ensuring that they don't get wrapped on through the spawn. So they've got the setup for this. They've got a man advantage. They know the weapons are maybe slightly limited for Encore, so there's no real, I guess, reason for Order to be pushing here. So Encore need to get a move on. They need to make a decision about where they want to end this. And it looks like it's going to be the B-bomb site, to be fair. This is where they've tried to end most of the rounds. Unfortunately for them, there's 2 players immediately within the bomb site, as well as a third that can rotate quite quickly, and he's already made his way over.
1 smoke is all they've got as well. That's going to go towards short. Long will remain open. No molly to clear the cubby either. Hats will lie in wait. He'll catch the first for free. Sterling at least there for the trade, and Savage finds 1 more. That will be the bomb plant with 15 seconds left. Inns desperate for the denial, but low HP Savage just about able to punch those numbers in. And with no ammo left in that 401S, Inns forced to, at least for now, switch to that USP, charging on up, grabs himself another weapon. And they are stuck at the moment, this T side. Smoke goes in towards Dig. That isolates 2 for free. APOC spamming away. And it is just Sterling in towards that ramp. AWP, no more utility available whatsoever. They tap it once. They know players are in Dig, but Savage's spam continues to connect. Alistair wants the ratty angle. Inns has found 1 in response, and that bomb is being stuck. The AWP needs to hit his shot, and he can't see it. Inns doubles his kill count. Sterling looks for the exits and will get at least 1, but it's only a consolation prize as Order managed to pull off the ninja inside of the B site.
Yeah, and that was really just the perfect defuse spot. It blocks him off the ramp, obviously, but it also just about took him off the angle that was being spammed. So it's quite fortunate there was that 1 spot to avoid both lines of sight, I suppose, even though one of them isn't really a line of sight. Yeah, 4-3 for Order. They managed to edge the round out. It gets a bit closer than I was thinking initially when they had that pretty firm 5-on-4, but they do still win it out in the end. And even with the bomb plant, there's not a full buy, of course, for Encore, but they already have an initial pick off the back of the up. Not bad from Sterling. They might be able to catch some further aggression here out of Hats. He doesn't seem to be toning it down either. Wants this kill desperately to try and salvage the situation. Unfortunately, all it does is lead them into a 5-on-3, which is going to be much more difficult now. They do still have 2 towards this B-bomb site, so perhaps another push looks to be in the cards. No, I thought they were going to combine their push through cave. Instead, a rotation, because it is going to be a quick A push from the T side.
Smoke to try and split the CT defense as well. Goes deep in towards red. Locks out CT rotations. They've gone through it with Liaz, though. A little bit of over-aggression there from Order. Alistair didn't really need to be taking that swing. Punished for it early. Hats, I think, a little too keen to be the man to find the recovery. Punished on the second time of asking, and now, I mean, it's not the greatest weapon pickup in the world for the T side. 2 AWPs, 1 M4, but it's not a bad look either. And as they start to plan out this execute onto the A site, Sicko is looking very lonely. 5 players in towards Dig, about to charge on out into his position. Hazel finds one. The flash is good, but Sicko holds his ground. He's running out of ammo now, needs support, and they are rotating in. He manages to double up before he goes down, and that could be critical, because out of Brokey comes Liaz. Good connection, takes the leg on the chin, and he's denying. He's buying so much time. 20 seconds left as Apok finally takes him down, but Inns just has to deny bomb, and he knows it. Sterling needs to get that plant down with 10 seconds left on the clock. He's spotted. He taps it. He sticks it, and Inns isn't expecting it. Bomb will go down. 1v1 now. Orpa needs this shot, and he can't quite connect it. 3 on 5. Order will find the recovery. A little bit of BM right at the death as well. They want to make sure that Encore know exactly what they're up for. A 3v5 conversion, and a solid one at that. The A-side defense looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, well, nice 1v2, of course, from Inns, but great work from Sicko as well. That now Order have taken themselves, I believe, 4 rounds in a row. Obviously won the pistol earlier on, lost the 3 in a row, and since the guns have come out, have been mostly in control, despite needing to, of course, make a pretty massive comeback there in that round itself from the 3 on 5 that they found themselves in. That's the aggression, though. I do like. They're swapping it up pretty constantly. It's pretty unpredictable as to where they're going to throw it in. I would just like to see it being maybe a bit more coordinated. They could have went, for example, the push together in that previous round and worked off of each other around mid, with the player pushing up through cave as well, exactly as they're pretty much going for right now. So they've made that adjustment. They realized where they went wrong. We'll see exactly what the plan is, because for Encore right now, they're all pretty much just trapped outside of B. They had to boost them for the op to try and find the pick, but the smoke faded away, leaving them exposed to Inns, who gets the kill, who does some damage, and makes it difficult for Encore. But they do have a player trapped in here. Liaz didn't really seem to be aware that he was being wrapped on. Alistair through the smoke hits a no-scope, I believe. Okay, was that just a random shot? Was he just like, screw it, I'll give it a go?
Denied the bomb. This goes from bad to worse. Licky looking for the recovery, but Alistair is having none of it. I think that was just a reaction shot to Liaz going down, knowing roughly where. Probably got the red dot on the mini-map to give it away as well. Again, like you said,
seems like he's flexing on them for no reason.
He's just feeling it. It is just a random shot, and it just straight through the smoke. Gets the second on the no-scope as well. And this is the problem, again, for Encore. That adjustment immediately coming in from Order, and that's the experience, right? That's the experience of your IGL going, okay, we know what went wrong in the previous round. This time, we're going to lean on that B aggression a little sooner. A little unfortunate, honestly, not to come out with 2 free kills. Savage just about able to rein that spray control in to get 1 before he goes down, but for Encore, they really need to start adjusting to these things sooner rather than later, and they need to start understanding how they're going to break this defense open, because at the moment you've got a few isolated rounds, 1 or 2 against lesser finances, lesser firepower, but since the rifles have come out, Order have looked incredibly solid.
Yeah, they have. I mean, there's been some weaknesses for sure. I mean, you can even see it reflected in the fact that they haven't built up the economy as much as I'd imagine they would have wanted to by this point. They only have barely enough for the buy on the 3 players pretty much, and then other than that, Liaz would struggle. Inns definitely wouldn't have what would be necessary, so they could be broken pretty quickly, and well, that's one way to do it. Hazard charges out mid, Blind manages to pick up the opening headshot, Licky as well catches Sicko before he can transition into any sort of a safe position, leaving a lot of pressure now onto the shoulders of Alistair, and we've seen him already come away with a couple of multi-kills from this position, and it looks like he might just be able to do it again with the assistance of Liaz. It's all on Sterling. It looked to be almost their round when they had that 5-on-3 and the bomb site almost open, bar the 1-up that they had to deal with. Fortunately, they couldn't do it, and that falls to a massive clutch being necessary. It should be impossible. He peeks in. There's 3 of them ready to swing off of each other. The trade, at the very least, comes in, and there it is. 7-3.
We spoke about it in the pre-game, Dean. Little moments of brilliance. They're a little easier to pull out when your opposition aren't of the top caliber, and that's exactly what Alistair does there. That's a second 3v5, this time up against full rifles that Order managed to find the conversion on. A couple of very swift flicks from the Orpa, just denying any kind of entry into the site itself. Bomb goes down off the back of Liaz, and, well, quick as you like, that 5v3 is a 1v3, and Encore again left clutching at straws. Deagles are out. Tech 9 in the hands of Licky again to allow him to pick up a little bit more utility. But these rounds haven't been great for them. They need to start finding some more damage, and that's exactly what Licky will do. But immediately the response is there, and that's also bombed down inside of the dig doors. Liaz with a decision to make if he wants to stick around and contest it. But for now, he's got utility, and that'll buy him more time.
Yeah, probably will be a bit dangerous now once that smoke fades away. As you said, it still has a flash, I believe, but two of them, I was going to say, moving around, could at least find the trade and maybe steal the rifle. Unfortunately, it's a single push that comes through initially around the edge of the smoke, and it's only APOC left to actually try and follow up afterwards, and Liaz doesn't have any issue dealing with it. I was going to say neither should Alistar with this one, but doesn't quite land the shot, takes a bit of damage, and even though it's a 3-on-1, just doesn't want to take any sort of unnecessary risk. I like it. Let the rifle maybe try and deal with it instead. You have a bit more leeway for if a shot is missed, of course. There's a bit of time for Savage, so they do want to be careful not to give him anything.
Yeah, the problem for him is that the two rifles that have gone down are inside of Dig. I'm sure he'd love to grab one, see if he can get a little more done, but they're so far disconnected with 25 seconds left. He's going to have to do it with the Dig. Alistar again holding down the angle. Again, it's the miss, but it baits Sicko in. He swings wide, finds the kill. 3 players kept up. Guaranteed lead at the half now for Order. 8-3 to the good. Economy not yet fully stable, I will say. There's definitely still some opportunities if Encore can find that little bit of magic to start breaking things down, but it has to start soon. We're already 11 rounds in. 8-3 to the good Order. We need Encore to find the response on their map pick.
Yeah, very, very soon. Otherwise, I'm not loving their chances of putting up a fight on towards Inferno as well. Sicko, we've seen him aggress in towards mid already. This time it is being watched, although he's somehow not spotted by APOC coming out mid. Focused, of course, towards Donut, and Sicko not only coming away with that one, but a second on the Sterling as well. A little bit of spam damage in return. Sadly, it goes not uncontested. It's spammed back right to the dome of Licky as well. Savage then tries to swing mid to see if he can maybe catch a time. And yeah, I mean, it's just individual players at the moment. Not necessarily on purpose on the initial one, obviously, because they didn't expect Sicko to be aggressive where he was. So, like, they didn't expect themselves to be on an angle, I suppose, that was exposed. The turret peak from Savage maybe a little bit unnecessary when they already had some low health players as well. They need to try and work off of each other. Instead, now Hazard and Licky both left on the brink of death, and even with 3 players heavily tagged on the side of Order, there shouldn't be too much to lose, as long as they can set themselves up for trades.
If Encore had health, then maybe you'd start to back them in this situation, but Bomb is still down deep in towards Z. They don't show any interest in going back for it. They're just going to fake the idea of a B hit, and the problem with this is, well, you can't fake that bomb being punched in. He has boosted over the smoke. We'll be able to confirm that nobody has crossed yet. And with 25 seconds left, you can see the scaffold control taken by Inns. This is a solid lockout from the CT side. Liaz is caught in no man's land by Hazard, however. And that's one of the 2 high HP players gone now. That bomb that's still not being recovered. They are trying to fully fake it till you make it, but Alistar is having none of it. And Hats will put them down at the final. 9-3. Another solid round coming in from Order. And like you said, a couple of individual battles that felt like they were being taken more out of frustration than tactics going against Encore.
Yeah, it almost seems like they're running into a brick wall at the moment. If they could crack through that first round and find their footing, then perhaps they'd be able to just grind out the 1 or 2 that they need just to pull it up towards 5 or so, which is a somewhat respectable half. Obviously, they wouldn't have gotten it in an ideal fashion with the 3 rounds coming early on and nothing really for so long. They just need that foundation to actually work with going onto the CT side, where hopefully they can put up a better resistance. Standard play, of course, pushed up in cave as we've come to expect now from Order. Encore definitely will be expecting it, especially with the spam coming in. What can they do about it? Again, all 5 players just grouped outside of B. It's allowed for Order to have 3 players pretty much set up around here, as well as a fort pushed up on mid, who will be a very quick rotation if the help is needed. So we'll have to see exactly what the plan is here, because at the moment they're waiting it out and I guess running down the couple of mollies that were available towards B. They still have their own smokes now to execute, but there's still going to be smokes and flashes in return as well.
It's not a bad result, at least financially they've burnt the nades, but again, Licky just not quite aware of the angles he's visible from, picked off freely. And without this control in towards the cave, it becomes very difficult to even get across into the site itself. Alistair and Hat's proving just that. Liaz chimes in with one more, and well, it's a demolition job. Double digits on the board for Order. You liked the initial plan, right? You were talking about bleeding the nades out, the Molotovs, $600 a pop going down the drain as they're thrown deep, but just not having the smokes left for that late execute, that kind of lack of dig control as well is always going to come back to bite you. No smoke there, no smoke towards long. It's an easily established crossfire for Order. And at this point, they've already got a solid CT side. A 10-round half on Ancient CT side, that's perfectly decent. Anything from here is a bonus, and anything from here is an absolute necessity for Encore. They need to start stretching their legs, showing us what they're made of, because at the moment, all of that momentum is against them.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much around A main in the early stages, and we won't be in this round either, as Hats again pushes up through Donut. We haven't really seen him go for it just straight up with the flash. Previously, he'd been waiting around, going for maybe the late peak, just dry and trying to catch the timing, and this time it just completely catches them off guard with how he swaps it up. Alistair hitting those pretty standard shots as you'd expect at this point over towards A, and maybe that's why they've been avoiding A main, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, if you can't deal with the AWP, just try and dodge it, but not working out well for them whatsoever. Order with very solid protocols here. They take that initial mid control. Hats with the early nade knows exactly where to line it up, so it catches the man up on that higher ledge, gets a ton of damage off the back of that. The flashes continue to be excellent. Savage, with his team's first kill of the round, needs 4 more to make something of this. A little bit of magic for the second. Tapping away, finds the head of Sicko. But with 40 seconds left on the clock, what can he realistically expect to do here? He's smoked out of the scaffolding. Becomes a very one-dimensional hit. They know where he is. They know where he has to go with just 30 seconds left. Alistair posted on the angle. Savage will look to bait the shot, and the time is a little awkward for the AWPer, so he'll drop into Brokey and find the connection regardless. 11 on the board. Again, this is starting to look a little ugly around the edges for Encore. The protocol's just a little too good from Order. The utility incredibly solid, and they're just not giving Encore any chance to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the op landing every single shot that's required of him, and then everyone else performing fantastically as well, pretty much on par with each other. Just Alistair slightly leading the way, so this is kind of being exactly how they needed things to come together. They haven't had to do anything too crazy, just swap it up a little bit, call wherever they feel like going aggressive, and so far it's been working incredibly well. Blinded Durin's done some amazing damage. Yeah, I thought he got the initial double spray down, but no, he killed one and then managed another couple dinks, I believe, on top of it, and a good trade on Licky then in the end as well, even only Sterling, who will not remain much longer. It is going to be a 12-3 half. There is a very difficult recovery needed for Encore, and we'll see whether they can do it after the break.
Seems like I can't get away from the hot sun. Always night, it's never day. Even when I watch the floor, the dust will come. Keep on hunting for the prey. No matter how lost, need no light, no spark. I'm in line mode. With my eyes closed, I can see in the dark. I'm a quiet storm. Far from calm, I know you feel me, brother.
A quick break just to get us right back into the action, guys. 12-3 though, a more than daunting scoreline, I would say, for Encore to be looking at right now. They need to take this pistol, they need to get off to a solid start, pretty much like they did on that first half, but this time they need to build off of it, and it's going to need to be rather a whole different team, basically, that we see coming through right now.
And that's exactly what they'll be saying here. Take the pistol, work it slowly. Savage's dad sat behind them, egging them on. One pistol, one round at a time. Just start to build your half. Order, of course, looking for a nice and swift finish before we head to their map pick of Inferno to try and shut this one out. And that's exactly what they're going for. Swift control going to be taken in towards Dig. That heavy mid lane yet to be tested, but over the scaffold they come. 3 players. The flashes are excellent, and they've got an isolated fight. APOC for now alone. He's waiting for the donut cover. He knows he needs support, and there's none there. Hats with a free kill as now the charge looks to continue. Savage posts up, and he's the next line of defense. Very swiftly taken away. Ins with one more, and Licky, well, he finds one, but it's a consolation kill. A couple of swift headshots. The site is cracked open like a nut, and has a 1v4 to contend with. Spots out and deals with the first man, but already 2 players in towards the temple, flanking him out, making his life awkward. Sicko puts the final nail in the coffin. It's 13, and Order want to get this first map done quickly.
Yeah, no, didn't look like it was the most strategic of pistols. Just rush it down, land shots, and keep on jumping, basically, which is usually the strategy with that Glock. They take the pistol, hopefully look to convert it this time as well. Obviously, that was where they had their one hiccup pretty much of that entire CT side. Obviously, they won't be up against quite as strong of a force by this time. The CT side not able to get quite as much. It's going to be pistols, a few nades behind it, and hope that they can manage to stop this B rush that's coming right in. They do have a quick flank coming through that mid push, but unfortunately, I was going to say they've already lost that first player in on the bomb site. Hazard, though, around the smoke, alongside a kill from Sterling, suddenly flips the round on its head. It's a man advantage for Encore. The weapons obviously not favoring them, but the numbers looks like it may just be enough as they overwhelm them as that bomb is going down, leaving only Alistar, and they don't even manage to get the bomb planted.
Awkward Mac 10 spray from Liaz was the start of the end there, and Alistair's got a clutch to find. Spots out one, dinks him twice, but he doesn't know where the second man is. Savage tapping away, he's brought him down low. 24 HP remaining. Alistair wants to get out of dodge. That will mean all the rifles are recoverable for Savage. AKs, Mac 10s, whatever he fancies. He's got the Mac for the moment, as Alistair knows this was their round. This was their opportunity. At the very least, they have to come away with this bomb plant. They need the finances of it, so he'll be able to get it down. 24 HP and an AK. Savage doesn't want to stick around and try and find himself a rifle. He's going to trust his Deagle, trust his Mac 10. Knows that Alistair is low HP. The timing on this is going to be everything. Alistair tucks himself into the most disgusting of angles, and Savage has no idea. Jumps right on through, gives his head up. It's a 1v2 for Alistair. A moment of magic. Very swiftly ripped away by Order. It's 14-3. And well, you can't be given those kind of opportunities up. If you're finding those kind of kills with pistols against a full buy, you've got to get the conversion if you're Encore.
Yeah, it was almost looking like they had it after, I think at one point it was even for a couple of seconds a 4-on-2 when the 5-7 kill came out from the man charging out from Cave to stop the bomb plant. Either way, they weren't able to convert it, and now they're on the brink of losing out here on their own map choice. Sicko catches APOC trying to push up on mid. Obviously, it is the force buy as you'd kind of expect at this point. Nice shot by Savage. Gets out of the angle as well just before Inns can get into a position to trade. So, not bad. Licky has a shot here. I think he heard the jump up. Definitely heard something as he looked pretty determined that there was someone on the other side of the smoke, just unsure where exactly. And for now, he'll decide to fall back off. So, Order, they have a 1-for-1 trade, damage in their favor in the meantime as well. On top of course, having much stronger weapons, so they're in a good spot with how much time they have here to actually make their decision. It looks like they want to bring it back towards A. Maybe a split through mid as well. And that will be the correct decision, as you can see from the radar, yeah.
Very nice call indeed. It's that eternal mind game of A is a horrible site to hit. There's too many angles. Of course, look to be addressed in the latest update, but we're not there yet. So you go for the heavy stacks on the CT side. You trust that there'll be presence. You start to push your way down. But as soon as you do that, it's out into the A site. Inns, clean headshot deals with Sterling. And at this point, you're looking at the money. These 3 remaining CT players, you're looking at those MP9s, that armor, and you're thinking, do you really want to give this a go, boys? Do you really want to throw this at the fire and hope you can find a connection? Yes, there's damage onto Alistair now, but you need these rifles. You need these SMGs. The 1-for-1 trades are not good enough, and as they're cut down through Donut, it's 15-3 with 3 AKs still up for order. The buy into the last round potentially is going to be incredibly ugly. And again, it feels like that decision-making just wasn't quite connected. That's MP9s, that's armor, that's extra nades that you could be picking up into this round, drops you could be making, instead of throwing it at a 3-on-4 retake into the A site all through Donut, coming up against AKs at range.
Yeah, I mean, their chances were pretty slim. If it was Inferno and they were retaking B in the exact same situation, they'd have similar chances, and they definitely would have called for a save, I'd imagine. I think it's just the nature of maybe believing that you could retake A little bit easier. Unfortunately, wasn't the case, and I don't think they're going to have an easy time holding onto it now either, with already a player down. The AK is all charged in onto the bomb site, and with that now a 4-on-1 already. It's looking to be a pretty quick 16-3 here on map number 1. We knew Order would be our favorites, but I wasn't quite expecting it to be this one-sided, I won't lie.
Licky at least with a bit of damage, but they know where he is. He's low HP. He'll be caught by the man. Hats finishes the job. It's 16-3 on map 1. Order with the domination. And we'll be back in just a minute to break that one down.